Hi, I'm Stacey.
And I'm Lois.
And this is Whose Girl Are You? Today, we're going to just talk about all the things that have been in my head all week that I just need to sort out with Lois. So, buckle up and enjoy the ride.
I am so glad you're sharing your crazy brain with me because I share my crazy brain with you.
Yeah. Well, and I think if we're all honest, we all just have so much going through our brains at all times. Thankfully, It doesn't all come out of our mouth.
Exactly.
All the time. But this is an appropriate space for it, I feel like.
It is.
The first thing I want to talk about, and anybody that's known me for any period of time knows that I really struggle with dealing with people who are perpetually late. They're always late. Like if they're on time, it's a shock.
Mm-hmm.
And first I want to say this. I understand and I have grace for being late.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen. The baby poops its pants. Like you realize that as you're trying to buckle them into the car and you have to go back in the house and you have to change that. Of course, that's the right thing to do, to be a few minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, it's like borderline for me, right? Because you should be there a few minutes early because it allows something like that to come up.
Right.
Right? So like for me,
yes.
If something like that comes up, I end up being there right on time.
Right.
Right? Because I allow extra time.
Unless the baby has, like, you change them. And then you go get your shoes on and your coat and your diaper bag and all that, and you get to the car and they've pooped again? Like,
sure.
You know, okay, that's okay. But yeah, normally you're right. If you plan ahead to be there a few minutes early, then you will be right on time.
Well, I don't know if you've ever listened to, I don't know how to say his last name for sure, but Nate Bargatze. He's a comedian and I think he's great and he's really clean as well.
Okay.
And he does this whole set on why it's so annoying that people are late. Cause he's just like, listen, you can be early for hours.
Yeah.
But then there comes this point where then now you're late. So be early. Then you don't have to be late. Right. So, but I think it's the people that are trying to show up right on time that are always late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, quit trying to show up right on time. Try to show up early and then maybe you'll actually show up on time. So anyway, that's my rant for that. I don't know. I think you're a person who's on time.
Yeah, I am.
Do you have someone in your life that you deal with on a regular basis who is always late?
Yes. Not a ton.
Yeah.
I have had different people in my life who were perpetually late.
How do you deal with it?
I am frustrated. That's how I deal with it.
Do you say something? Do you like...
I haven't for so many years.
Okay.
So it's not something, I don't even know how I would respond now. I don't really have people in my life that are super, but you know what? A lot of times, I'm the one driving. And maybe that's part of the reason why. Is because we're gonna go do a thing. I'm like, I'll drive.
Right.
Because I'm picking you up and I'm gonna be on time. I'm not gonna be late.
Right.
I don't know.
I do stuff like that as well, right? If someone has put me in a situation where they've caused me to be late, that's extremely annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see my husband and I have two cars at the same event often, this is why. This is how we've solved the problem.
Right.
Because I can leave when I want to leave and he can leave when he wants to leave and we'll both end up in the same place, but I won't be late. And I'm not saying that he's always late. He's pretty on time.
Right.
But there's certain things that he wants to be late to. And I don't. Right?
Right.
So if that's the case, if we can't agree on what time to leave, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So you find ways around it. If someone is perpetually late, I will not have them pick me up. I will not have them meet me somewhere. I will not do these things because I won't sit there and wait for someone. Because you know what it subliminally tells me?
They don't respect you enough to be there.
Well, they think their time's more valuable than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
If they're going to sit and make me wait.
Mm-hmm. And that's a disrespect.
Yeah. My close friends are timely people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. And I've learned to have a sense of humor about it. And I know there's some people that you're never going to change. And so you have to learn how to, like, we're all created different. We're all whatever. You know, I don't know if this is a disrespect. All I know is it's a super annoyance to me. Some people, doesn't bother them a bit. If someone made them wait a half hour, they don't care. It does not bother them. And so in turn, they probably don't understand how it bothers someone else. But I run a tight ship. A lot of times I have something else I need to be at or something else I need to do. Not that I keep a super crazy schedule.
Right.
But if my family thinks I'm going to be home at a certain time to start making dinner and doing that thing, by all means, I'm going to be. I'm not going to show up at home late to start doing all of that stuff just because someone else made me late at the meeting that I was supposed to get before that. Yes. You know, so I'm just...
So then the dominoes fall. Everything for the rest of the day is just...
You just feel like you're running
late.
behind. Yeah. It's super hard. So anyway, that was one of the things.
It was going through your brain?
Well, it's probably one of my number one things. You know, when people say, what's your number one pet peeve? And I don't know that we should even have pet peeves per se, but like something that's like really hard for me to deal with that I have to deal with on a regular basis, it would be dealing with people that are late. So I don't know if you have like a top.
Mine would be late people as well.
Really?
Yeah, it would be.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And for me, it feels like you said, their time is more valuable than mine. And I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. I can't think of anything else that bugs me worse.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, if we keep talking, maybe we'll think of stuff that bothers us.
We will think of.
Okay.
We will.
So moving along.
Yes.
Because I don't want to beat that one to death if someone's out there and they're like, I'm always late. I don't hate you. I don't hate the person. I really don't hate the person. I just can't stand the situation.
I agree totally. But I want to talk about something else.
Sure.
We call it a pet peeve. I mean, a pet is something that you care for and you tend and you baby and you pour energy into. If you have a pet.
That's why I'm saying I don't know that we should call it a pet peeve. I just don't know what to call it.
But that's what people call it. Our culture calls something like that a pet peeve. But I think the whole term pet peeve is
What is the origin of pet peeve?
I don't know.
Okay, I just looked it up. It says the noun peeve, meaning an annoyance, is believed to have originated in the United States early in the 20th century, derived by back formation from the adjective peevish, meaning pet peeve. What's the literal meaning of pet peeve? An annoyance that's nurtured like a pet.
There you go. Nurtured like a pet. And that's where I'm saying, you said maybe we shouldn't have pet peeves.
Okay.
No,
so,
we shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't, because it says it's something someone can never resist complaining about.
Oh, there we go. Time to drop the pet peeve. No more nurturing of that.
So let's not have pet peeves, right? Because we're literally kind of almost adoring it. Like every time we get the opportunity to complain about it, we're going to complain about it. And that's my number 2 thing I hate is people who complain about stuff that's out of their control.
I know, right?
Especially the weather. Oh my word.
No kidding. Like you can do anything about it.
I cannot handle when people complain about the weather around me.
Yeah.
I cannot stop myself from either saying something or walking away.
Yeah.
You know, my husband, he tells people, we live in New England, it snows here a lot in the winter, it's very cold, long winters, and he says, when people are like, oh, that's so cold or it's so snowy, which is obvious.
Yeah.
He says, you can always move. That's what he always says. You could always move. Cause this is what you're going to get if you live here, right? You don't start thinking you're going to start getting Florida weather for some reason one year. I mean, there is global warming and things seem to be shifting a bit, but it's not going to be Florida anytime soon.
No.
So.
I don't know that there's necessarily global warming either. There is climate change.
Sure.
But it goes both ways.
Climate change.
Yeah.
Well, they did change it to that. They used to say global warming. Now they're saying climate change.
Because it's not only warming, it's cooling as well.
Right.
So there are shifts and trends and, they happen.
Yeah. So don't be late and don't complain about the weather.
Yeah. I fully support both of those.
Okay. Next thing on my list, I went and got my teeth cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
My boys did as well. We all go. I bring them down. This is how cheapskate I can be. Maybe I'm actually not cheapskate. Let me change that. I am actually just frugal.
Yeah.
I'm frugal with my money. I don't want to just spend money where I don't need to. So 20 minutes from my house, we have a dental college. Mm-hmm. You can get your x-rays, your cleanings, everything for zero money. Yeah. Granted, it takes 2 or 3 times as long as it would typically take somewhere else. but I don't care. But like me and both of my boys go down there all at the same time. And in my brain, the whole time I'm laying there for the 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it ends up being, is I'm saving myself $600. I will lay somewhere for 2 or 3 hours to save $600 for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So anyway, I have a thing about teeth. I look at people's teeth. I notice people's teeth. I kind of, like, I would never, ever, ever in my life go to bed without brushing my teeth.
Right.
Personally, for me, I can't, if I happen to lay down and I'm so exhausted and I remembered that, I would stumble into the bathroom to brush them because I think it's gross. Yeah. I also floss them almost every night. I would say I probably skip, because of random, like I'm traveling or something like that, maybe a handful of days out of the year do I not floss my teeth. And so anyway, I go to the dental hygiene place and they comment over and over and over how beautiful my teeth are, how healthy my gums are, how nice, blah, 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 how good my home care is. And finally I said, do you not see this very often? I mean, granted, it is a dental college that services a lot of low income, I suppose, which that demographic might have different oral hygiene care. I don't know. Yeah. And they said, no, we don't hardly ever see it. And I said, what percentage of people that you see floss on a regular basis? And they said, you. And I was like, that can't be true. And they said, no, we don't really see it. Like, people don't floss. And we've been told every time anyone that goes to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned or whatever, brush your teeth twice a day, floss your teeth once a day. Yeah. You know, use a water pick if you have it. Yeah. There's certain things that you do, but nobody follows these rules. Or hardly anybody. I mean, some people do, because I do, right? Right. Well, it drives me bananas, because I've also told my kids they brush their teeth, but they don't always floss. Yeah. Well, here's the number one reason why people need to floss their teeth. It is very expensive to get fillings, crowns, and root canals.
It sure is.
So if you want to save yourself thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, I'm not even joking right now, like when you add it up over a period of 20 years, 30 years, whatever, right? The simplest way to save yourself like 20 grand is floss your teeth every night. And try to convince your kids to floss their teeth every night.
Well, and even more than that, rather than trying to convince them, make it a requirement until they're of the age where they're doing their own oral care.
Yeah. So I guess that's what I'm saying, because all my kids are doing their own, and I'm not going to.
Right. No, you're not going to stand outside the bathroom and say, are you flossing now?
No. So.
But if they've built healthy habits by the time they get to be old enough, hopefully they take.
I didn't floss as a kid, and I ended up with a bunch of work, and that's how I know how expensive it is.
And you know what? You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't floss all the time now. I water pick, but I don't floss and water pick. So I'm in their demographic.
Yeah, water pick does not do what flossing does for your gums.
Really?
It's better than nothing, but it's not a replacement for flossing.
Yeah, see, I use it as a replacement for flossing.
It is not.
Well, I should do one night and the other one the other night.
Absolutely. Water pick one night, floss the next night. At least it's like, but you know what? Here's the thing I was telling my boys on the way home from there is when you do floss every night, it's fast. I'm fast. Yeah. When you first start flossing, you think, I don't have time for this. What a pain this is. I can't even get back here, there, whatever. You start figuring out what your favorite floss is and you get so fast at it. Yeah. It doesn't take me any time. Yeah. I mean, I can floss my entire mouth in under a minute. Yeah. So if I'm ever tempted not to floss, I think, do I want to floss for, 35 seconds or do I want to spend $500?
Or and the time it takes.
Or more.
Both.
Yeah. And the pain. Yeah. So.
And like the antibiotics because you have a,
infection. I mean, it's just, here's the thing. Teeth problems never go away if left unattended, right? Like some things it's like, oh, I pulled a muscle, I did something to my back, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of wait a lot of stuff out and it will resolve itself.
Yes. Not teeth.
Well, if you find a problem with your teeth and you decide to turn a blind eye and ignore that problem is going to grow. Promise you that.
And you know what? That's another thing then with oral care is take care of it when it's little because a filling is a lot cheaper than a root canal.
Oh, you bet.
It's going to turn into a root canal.
Yeah.
If you don't do something with it.
I've only had one root canal in my life, and I never.
Yeah.
That was the worst experience ever.
Yeah.
I think the crown I got was better than the root canal I had to have.
Yeah.
That was just the most horrible sound, smell, and pain, and no thanks.
So I have I have a bridge because I did something really stupid when I was in my early 20s. I had a tooth that needed a root canal. And I didn't have the money for a root canal. And I'm like, how much does it cost to pull it out? Because I don't need it.
Ooh, a lot of people do that.
So they pulled it. And then, 20 years later, my dentist says that tooth, it was right behind my furthest back molar. It was one tooth up. And he said that back molar does not have a tooth to support it, and it's starting to fall forward. Mm-hmm. And it's going to fall forward. It's going to keep falling forward. And you need something in there, whether you do an implant, whether you do a bridge, whether you do something. Because you can't crown it because there's nothing there to crown, right?
It would have been cheaper in the long run. It would have been cheaper to fix the tooth. So that's what happens. And people think, oh, I don't care. That one's bothering me. I'm just going to have them yank it. No, it's going to cause so many more problems. Then you have bone loss. Then you have your teeth shifting. Then you have all these things. And you know what it is, though? People don't care because they can fix the problem right now.
For a reasonable cost.
And they're not thinking about their future self.
That's what I did. Totally. And you know what? I legitimately did not have the money for it. So what do you do in that situation? I didn't have the money for it. I had at least 2 little kids, maybe 3. We're broke. We're living on paycheck to paycheck to put away the money.
If you're super broke, you can get on Medicaid and that covers it.
Yeah.
If you're just kind of broke.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were just kind of broke. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're just kind of broke, then, it's a pain, but they do have care cards and stuff where there's no interest for a year. And so you make that and then you budget it in and you make that $100 payment a month until it's paid off or whatever you have to pay. So it's a pain, but in the long run, boy, our teeth do matter. You talk to like elderly people that didn't take care of their teeth and all the stuff and not being able to eat. And then, it's a snowball effect with dental care.
Yep, it is.
I'm a weirdo about teeth. I understand the cost of it, and I've cried many a day coming home from the dentist with a kid that has 12 cavities. And that's a longer story I don't feel like getting into, but I know the heartache that comes with having problems you want to fix that you can't afford to fix because it is extremely expensive. But one way or another, we've managed to do it. And that's probably what's kept us not having a savings account is dental care.
Yeah, right.
I'm not joking right now. I am not, but it's whatever.
So you know what else is another thing? Dental and oral care during braces. A lot of young 10, 12, whatever year olds are having braces. And if a kid is not keeping their teeth clean when they have their braces on, you go and get your braces off and you have a ton of cavities in those teeth that you just spent thousands of dollars straightening out. Now you have thousands more dollars and they're never going to they don't have the integrity. Once you have broken the enamel and caused a cavity and had to have a filling, then there's constant, that's like a patch basically. That's all that is a patch.
They say that dental work lasts an average of 10 years, and then you have to get it replaced, whether it be a filling or a crown or whatever. I'm like, knock on wood, I don't even know where that saying came from. But anyway, I have a crown that's 20 years old that I've had zero problems with. And I keep thinking, is it a ticking time bomb? Is it something I'm going to have replaced at some point? But I'm just going to keep up that flossing and water picking, and I'm just going to pray for the best, right? And I'm going to do everything I can possibly do, and then I'll deal with it when it comes. I'm not going to borrow trouble from tomorrow.
Yeah.
But so don't be late. Floss your teeth. Oh, what was the other one? Oh, there was one in the middle.
I know there was.
I don't have it on my list.
There was. What was it? We got to think for a second and get it. Don't be late. Don't complain.
Don't complain about the weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Do you make your bed every morning?
I do.
Why?
Because I cannot stand crawling into an unmade bed. If for some reason I can't make my bed in the morning because I'm like leaving like in 2 seconds and I don't have time, which is like twice a year, I will make it when I get home at night and I'm getting ready to crawl into bed, I will make it and then open it and crawl into it. Cause I can't stand crawling into an unmade bed.
It seems like an object of contention with people. Growing up, I was told I had to make my bed, and my mom probably got sick of fighting me about it, and so she finally started saying, just shut your door, so I don't have to look at it when I walk by.
Yes.
So I did. I just shut my door all the time. So now still to this day, I just keep my bedroom door shut.
Yeah.
I only make my bed, like make it up like really nice. I only do that when I'm changing the sheets.
Yeah.
I don't make my bed. I mean, I'll pull the covers up and then climb in, but I don't get too technical about it.
I can't stand it. I have to make my bed.
There's some people that are just adamant about if you don't make your bed in the morning, you're starting your whole day off wrong or something.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Now, my bedroom is not like obsessively clean or obsessively decorated or obsessively anything. But you know what? There is another thing. So since we're in the bedroom, in my closet, I know people who have like a foot of clothes on the floor in their closets. And to me, that is super weird. Like they'll take an outfit, try it. Nope, don't like that shirt. Take it off, throw it on the bed, throw it on the floor, throw it on a chair, throw it somewhere, rather than going whoop, whoop, and folding it and putting it right back on the shelf or in the drawer or whoop, whoop, right on the hanger, hang it back up. Instead, you throw it on the floor and grab the next thing to try. And then you throw that on the floor and you grab the next thing to try. And if you do that for a few days in a row, you have a foot deep of clean, now like gross clothes on your floor. That what, you're walking on them? I mean, like, well, that's weird. Like, what? Do you not walk on them? How do you not walk on them? They're a foot deep all over the floor. You kick them out of the way as you walk through? That's super weird to me. I don't understand it.
I'm not obsessively tidy, but I'm pretty organized. So I might have a couple things on, like if I'm in a mad rush to get to work or something like that, there might be a couple of things that they're not on the floor per se. They're kind of on this, almost on the floor in the closet. There's like this little area, but that night when I'm going to find a pair of sweatpants or something right then and there, I'm quickly putting them back on the hanger, back on the shelf where they belong, because I want to start my day off being able to find what I want to find, right? So my stuff is organized where it's like t-shirts are here, tank tops are here, sweatshirts are here, sweaters are there, more professional stuff's there, like the dresses are over there, so I know like what part of my closet I'm going to look for a jacket or look for something to go with that.
Yes,
totally. I also don't usually try on that many things and turn them down. Here's a rule of thumb. If you try something on and you take it off and you throw it on the floor, chances are you're going to do that every time you try that thing on, and you better just go give it to the consignment store or the thrift store or something and get it out of your closet because it's taking up space. Yeah. And it's just stressing you out every time you do it. Yeah. So you shouldn't have a lot of clothes in your closet that you put on and they make you feel like garbage in some way. Just get rid of them.
Totally.
Yeah. And having too many clothes, which I'm getting to the point right now where I'm feeling that again and I need to go through it. But I share a closet with my husband as well. So he gets this one part and I get this one part, and I just told him, like, I'm not buying any more hangers. Like, quit buying shirts or get rid of some or something. But I counted. This is so first world problems. 120 shirts hung up. Wow. And so I said, and then I have 120 on hangers on my bottom too. Yeah. We have a decent sized closet. And the rule is now, if there isn't a hanger for your clothes, for your shirt, something's got to go. Like, there's no reason on God's green earth why anybody, I don't care I don't care if you're Kim Kardashian. Like, there's no reason to have over 120 shirts.
Totally get that.
We even have 4 climates. I still don't care.
Yeah.
Layer, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of what happens now. And that's my good gauge on how to like be like, you got to get, if there's no space for it, it's got to go. So if the new thing comes and I love it, then I find something on those hangers that I don't like and it goes in a bag and it will end up at the church thrift store.
Yeah, totally. But the thing, I guess, with throwing it on the floor then, like you said, first of all, if you're throwing it on the floor because you don't like it, there are times when it's like, it's not appropriate for this occasion. I like this and I like to wear this. Then set it aside, but pick it up and put it away when you get home from the event.
Yeah, there's times like that. Or you're like, I would love to wear this, but I don't have a jacket that looks cute over it and it's too cold outside. So now I can't wear it because I don't have something to put with it.
Yep. I have to wait till summer or
no, and then I have to go shopping. Or a jacket.
I know, right? There you go.
Put more stuff in my closet.
Right.
Now I need that sweater to go with that.
Yeah. But the other thing then about throwing them on the floor and having a foot of laundry on your floor is tomorrow morning, you're going to get dressed again. To me, this is like it makes as much sense as flossing, right? You're going to get dressed again tomorrow morning.
Every day.
Every day. And tomorrow morning, you're like, where's that white t-shirt? Mm-hmm. Where's that black jacket? Mm-hmm. Well, it's in that wad of mess on your floor that you threw there yesterday or the day before or the week before. Like, it's just way easier.
I have a saying that if you don't know where it is, you don't even own it.
Yeah, it's not yours. Mm-hmm.
No. And people that don't stay organized, I won't name names.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it, but it's like they know they have this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, can you go get it because I want to borrow it or use it or whatever? And then they can't find it.
No, because I don't know where it is.
If you don't know where it is, if you can't find the thing in your house that you know you have, you don't have it. And now you know what it's doing? Now it's taking up some space, some valuable space in your house somewhere in the mess of clutter that you have.
Yeah.
Now it's a double problem. Now you can't go buy it because you know you have it. And you also can't use it because you can't find it. And it's taking up space somewhere where you could probably be organizing your stuff a little bit better. And it's just one thing after another. I do have a little bit of a passion for, I like to be organized. I like to know where my stuff is. It's not always, it doesn't always look the most aesthetically pleasing, but I know where it is.
Yeah.
You know what the only thing I keep losing, and I've been doing this for years, because it's so few and far between that I need it, a glue gun. Every time I need a glue gun, and I know I have one, I cannot find it. I don't think there's an appropriate place for a glue gun to live in my house.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have any like objects.
Yeah.
I don't do crafting. And still in this moment, I don't even know where the glue gun is, and I know I have one.
Yeah.
I think I might have put it in my toolbox this time.
Ah, yeah, that's a good spot.
But so I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm perfect or something.
No, we know that.
Yeah. Anyone that knows me is like, it goes without being said.
Your halo isn't visible.
Okay. So making your bed, not making your bed, whatever, but don't leave clothes on your closet floor more than a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. How about this one, though? How much water should you drink debate?
Oh, that's a really good question because I probably don't drink enough according to any gauge out there.
Well, here's the thing. I hear so many different things. Mm-hmm. So who's the authority on this? When did this become such a thing? I don't ever remember anyone talking about drinking water when I was growing up.
No, I don't either. It wasn't a thing. So was everybody in the whole world dehydrated, or did you just drink to your thirst level?
That's what I think. I think what happens is if you have the feeling to drink that you're thirsty, then you drink something. Yeah. And if you didn't feel thirsty, you didn't drink something. And that was that. I really want to go back to saying, I'm pretty sure it's as simple as that, because some of the stuff that I've been coming across lately is saying like this whole, everyone drinking so much water, drink your half of your body weight in ounces. Mm-hmm. That club. They're actually saying that when people are drinking more water than what they're needing, that their body is not sensing that thirst appropriately now anymore. And so it's kind of like akin to the person who overeats consistently and doesn't know the feeling of hunger, like doesn't know what it feels like for your stomach to growl and say that I'm hungry because it's always satiated. So I think it's the same thing with the water dilemma. So they're drinking way too much water way too often and their body never can tell it like, hey, I'm thirsty, drink some water. So
your gauge is broken.
Yeah. Like maybe you should stop drinking water for a minute, see how long it takes you to be thirsty again.
Yeah.
Just
that gauge will fix itself. Totally.
Yeah.
So this is a really, part of this is first world problems as well. We've been involved in different organizations, different clubs, different homeschool co-ops, different things like that. And in some of them, it's interesting to see the difference between different organizations and how they handle water. Like, will we provide store-bought, brand new, unbroken cases of water for these kids who are going to open them and take that much? And then you're going to find them on the table, on the counter, in the game room, everywhere. If you're at a park, you got to go clean them up because they're on the swing, by the swings in there, by the merry-go-round or whatever you have in your playground. Like, they're everywhere.
We started at church just buying the tiny little bottles, the little half bottles or whatever they are.
Why are you buying water for people?
The kids get them with a snack on their way out of Sunday school before church. It hasn't become a problem. The kids tend to drink them and they end up in the trash. That hasn't been a problem, but we would never get the big ones.
I still don't understand why you buy it. You have perfectly good tap water. Isn't your tap water?
Actually, we don't. I mean, we do. It's drinkable, but ugh.
It tastes bad?
It's Jaffrey City water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It tastes a little yuck. Yeah, I mean, I'll drink the water out of your tap at your house, and I actually won't drink the water out of my tap, to be honest.
Wow.
I'll drink it through the fridge filter. I'll drink that.
Yeah.
But I won't drink it out of the tap. No way. My well water, when our well water first got tested, it failed. It had so much crap in it.
Yeah.
Because we are in the Granite State, right? So a lot of us, we don't actually have, we have, what did the guy say? The well digger said something like, you have so much water, like per minute or whatever, that you could run a car wash.
Yeah.
But it's low quality, low quality, high capacity.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, so we can water the heck out of our lawn. No problem. I have the best grass in the neighborhood. I water that stuff all the time. But I won't drink it out of the tap.
But you know what? I think part of that is first world though. Like, is it bad compared to a mud puddle in India or Africa or somewhere? No, it's bad compared to Dasani. Sorry, got to remove Dasani. They'll make us, copyright claim or something. But you know what I'm saying?
I mean, bottled water wasn't even a thing until when?
I know, that's what I'm talking about.
When did that first even become a thing? I don't even know.
When people had enough money to buy water, I remember my parents, my grandparents being like, you're buying what? Like, that's crazy. Why would you buy water? And I do understand there are places in the world, in the United States, in, nice neighborhoods where your water tastes terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I buy water. So part of it is because I want to be able to just grab a bottle on my way out the door because I know I'm going to be driving or whatever. I drink one on my way to work or.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you have a bottle that you refill rather than throwing a bottle away, buying a bottle, throwing it away, buying another bottle tomorrow and throwing it away? Why would you not have a refillable bottle?
I have refillable bottles. I've done that thing before too, but I don't know.
I'm just curious. To me, it makes as much sense as flossing. You know how much money you spend on water?
Less than a crown.
Well, over the course of how long?
I get it from Costco, and I buy one case every 6 weeks or something. I don't drink them, so I'm not drinking bottles of water like that.
Okay.
All day, every day.
So here's what I'm picture.
I'm drinking water out of a glass at the house the majority of the time.
Right.
I'm only grabbing that if I'm like, I'm driving to the airport. I'm going to grab a bottle of that water. I leave it in the garage. Like, you can grab a bottle of water if you want, you know?
Yeah.
And some people, because they won't drink tap water or whatever, they're so used to drinking bottled water. I want to be able to offer that to my guests. If they come and they say, do you have bottled water? Yeah, it's in the garage. Go grab one. You know, I'll still drink out of the tap. And some people will be like, is it okay? Not out of the tap, but out of the fridge. Because now it's double filtered because we have a water filter for the whole house and then it goes through a filter again in the fridge.
Right.
And so I'll drink that. I think it tastes good. But.
Yeah. I get that, but that's not the norm. The norm is cases of water every time you go to Costco, buying cases.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it.
And it's a lot of money. And it's a lot of, I don't know. I guess to me, that peeve of mine is right under people being late and people complaining. It's people buying water and taking 2 sips out of a bottle of water and then setting it aside and it gets thrown away.
Hey, you know what? How about leaving the door and the first thing you do is go through the drive-thru and get a coffee? That's crazy to me because I brew. So now here's the thing. I might like take a bottle of water with me in the car, but I'm also going to take a cup of coffee that I've brewed at home.
Yeah.
With me as well. Cause you will not, the only time I go through coffee drive-thrus or go get a coffee out or something is, it's a special occasion. Like I'm meeting you at some cool coffee shop because we're going to visit and catch up. And so of course I'm going to order a coffee and a pastry or something while I'm there because hello.
Yeah.
Or I'm on a vacation and I'm on a road trip and I'm going to go through Starbucks and get coffee. Like it's so few and far between because I have a hard time swallowing the cost of that. Like, it's not that I don't have the money to buy it. I just don't want to spend my money on it.
Yeah.
That's all. Unless it better have some serious social aspect to it. Because otherwise I'm just drinking and I don't even want to admit what kind of coffee I drink because people go, ugh, gross. But like, I'll just drink the cheapest coffee through my drip bun. Like I am not fancy. Now, if someone has a Jura at their house and I'm having a cup of coffee, yum. That's great. I love your Jura coffee. I do. But I'm also not going to spend the money on buying a Jura.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, it's this weird threshold. It's like, I've always had this, my husband doesn't really understand it. When we first got married and he'd say like, he bought me a phone, right? Like a Nokia and I used it. And then he said, we should get you a new phone. I said, why? There's nothing wrong with my phone. He said, they have these nicer phones now that do this nicer stuff. I said, I'm happy with it. If I'm happy with the thing I have, why are you trying to convince me to get something more expensive and better when I'm totally happy with the thing I have? And so it's like, I'm always fighting against that, right? So it's like, yes, I know there's better coffee machines out there. Yes, I know there's better drinking cups out there. Yes, I know there's better whatever. But if I'm okay with what I have, why do I need to spend my money on getting that next newer thing? If I'm still content, because I'd rather just do that. I'd rather just stay content and happy with what I have. And by all means, I do get discontent with things and I need to replace it. My shoes. Shoes is a big thing for me. They can look perfectly fine if they're worn out on the inside. I'm going to drop $100 on a new pair of Nikes. I don't even hesitate. But like, there's a lot of other stuff that I'll drink cheap coffee out of a bun. And I am fine with it. And when people try to fix me, you should really get this coffee machine. You should really buy this special coffee. And you should really try this amazing creamer that's milked from massaged cows in the Middle East who only, you know, sleep on beds of gold. Like, I'm not interested. Leave me alone. Let me drink Folgers out of a bun. I'm fine with it. But invite me over to your house and let me drink coffee out of your Jura too, because I really enjoy that as well. Right?
I get that. I do. I probably buy a coffee or two a week. It's still special. It's not an everyday thing.
I'm not trying to put any guilt on you at all about buying coffee. If that's your thing, because here's the deal about it. I think we have this weird thing as humans where we try to, if we do things a certain way, we think that that's the way.
They're the right way. I know.
Right? Like, cause we have our own justifications why we do or don't do things. And so we don't understand why other people don't have those same things. There is going to be the person listening that says, I that is my self-care. I get this special coffee every morning. And if that is your self-care and that is giving you sanity, keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Keep doing that. And I don't have a problem with it. It's just, we all have this limited amount of money. I don't care if you're poor or rich. We all have a certain amount of money that we have at our disposal. Yeah. And then we get to decide where we're going to spend that money.
Mm-hmm. And so pick your priorities carefully. Like, think about them. Don't just squander your funds away, which are limited, whether like you said, whether you're rich or poor. Don't just squander them away on you don't even know what. Like, think about it.
Yeah. And I mean, and I realize this, that I have limited funds. And so if I'm fine with cheap stuff on this end, I'm going to keep doing the cheap stuff on this end because you
want the $100 Nikes when you need them.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so what I think is worth the money, someone else is going to think what a waste of money that is, Yeah. I buy my sneakers from Walmart and they're perfectly fine. And maybe they are. Yeah. But I'm a Nike girl all the way. I've been wearing, you can look back at pictures of me from when I was 6 years old. I was running around in Nikes. I don't know. Yeah. And I think people might be boycotting them even about different stuff, but I'm just like turning a blind eye. I'm like, I don't want to hear it because I like Nikes. I've tried out so many different brands of shoes and I always go back to Nike. Yeah. Maybe it's just the way my foot is. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Shaped. Yeah.
Okay. So we don't know how much water we're supposed to drink. I just say drink if you're thirsty. Don't if you're not.
Yeah. I totally agree. And you have that mechanism for a reason. God put that mechanism of you're thirsty now for a reason. Yeah. Otherwise people would literally die of thirst, die of dehydration without even feeling thirsty.
You want to know what else is? We don't only get water from water, right? We get
exactly.
Yeah, we get it from other things as well. So I think that's something that we don't think about.
Well, so then there's the other thing about drinking so much water that your mechanism is broken. You also drink so much water that then you have to take salts and things because you're flushing all the minerals and nutrients, not nutrients, but minerals out of your electrolytes out of your body.
Yeah, you can actually, if you drink too much water and you wreck your electrolytes, you can literally put yourself into cardiac arrest.
Yeah. I know.
You can kill yourself by drinking too much water.
Right.
Too much of a good thing is too much.
Yes, exactly.
I love water though. If someone said you can pick two things that you can drink for the rest of your life, what will they be? Coffee and water. I'm like, fine, coffee and water. And most Finnish functions that I go to, they always offer coffee and water. I'm always just set. And I think that we've decided that's our staple. Kind of like the Finns also have decided like the two spices they need for cooking are salt and pepper. Not me. I definitely veered off of that. I have a serious spice cabinet. Yeah. And I season the heck out of my stuff. But growing up, that was what it was. You drink coffee and water and you use salt and pepper and
and you're good.
Keep it simple, What's the next thing? Oh, so someone came over the other day and said, did you rearrange your furniture again? Yeah. My response to them was, yeah, I do it 2-3 times a year, every year. Yeah. It's not like they act like I'm changing my furniture weekly or something and I don't. Yeah. Pretty much spring and fall and then maybe another time to accommodate a Christmas tree or something. And then after that, I might have to put it back because I don't like how it was after, maybe 4 times a year, right? Mm-hmm. Before and after Christmas tree and spring and fall. Mm-hmm. And I was taught, my mom always did this too. And she would always say the reason why, because I'm like, I have to move the furniture again. And it felt way heavier back then. I was probably just weaker. The furniture was probably more solid. Yeah. She said, well, how else are you going to clean under it, in it, behind it, all of that? So when we did move the furniture, also you vacuumed in the cushions, under the cushions. Yeah. Now it's different. The little flap comes up in the back on the electric recliners and stuff, right? And you can vacuum them out a lot easier, but you clean the furniture itself. Yeah. You move it, then you clean where the furniture was. Right? Then so by the time you're done, your furniture should have been wiped down front, back, and inside out. And then the space where you moved it from and where you moved it to are all cleaned as well. So you can wipe down baseboards, wipe down heaters, wash the wall, do the stuff. And you have to rearrange your furniture to do that. So My question is this. How do you not rearrange your furniture?
Yeah. My furniture does not rearrange. I used to a lot. More than 4 times a year. But it was part of my cleaning process was figuring out a new way to put it. Like, you know, it was like, ooh, what if I put the couch over here? What would happen then to all the other things I have? I have to figure out new homes for them, right? I don't rearrange my furniture anymore, and it's super
Do you pull it out and clean behind it, or?
Yes, not as often as I did.
Exactly.
And it's a bummer. But part of that is the main room that I would move things around in was the living room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my living room does not work another way. It doesn't work well. I don't have options. I really like it this way, and I've tried it other ways, and I don't love it. So I'm kind of stuck. But you know what? Then you just pull it out, clean it, vacuum it, dust it, whatever, and just put it back right where it was.
Yeah, and I mean, that's living room. And living room is the thing you're going to do the most, right? Dining rooms, they're static, but that's easy to clean around because it's different, right?
Yeah.
Bedrooms, I flip-flop my bed from one wall to the other once a year.
Yeah.
Just once a year, though. And it's so gross when you pull it out.
Yeah.
Just the dust and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I also like rearranging furniture and seeing if you can have a different configuration. Even when you were talking about your living room, it's just out there not that long ago. And I'm thinking like how I feel like your living room has options, but I would have to move stuff around in it.
I've done them, and I just don't love any of the other ones.
Yeah.
They just don't so Stacey knows this, but for our listeners who don't know this, my dining room and my living room are the same room because there's a dining room table in my living room, or there are couches and chairs in my dining room, depending on which way you want to use it. So years ago, we used to visit at a friend's house who had their dining room table in their dining area, and there was a wood stove in the corner, and they had a couple chairs, or like a love seat and a chair next to that wood stove in the corner. And it was the super cozy place to visit. Part of it was probably the wood stove, but what I took from that was, this is super cool. You can have a comfy chair in your dining room, and you can have people sitting at the table. You can have people sitting in these comfy chairs. And I'm like, I want a room that has my dining room table in it and that has seating for comfortable seating as well. And so my dining room, I don't have a formal dining room. I have just a dining room table. I have 2 love seats and 2 chairs. No, 3 chairs in that room, along with the dining room table. But they're like 2 separate kind of conversation corners. You know, there's like a love seat and 2 chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then in another corner, there's a love seat and a chair. They're kind of separate. You can all visit together. So when we host Bible study or when we host family things, everybody can visit in the room. It's not such a huge room that you can't all visit together. But yet you can have, you know, a couple people sitting over here and a few people sitting over here and carry on separate conversations and not feel like you're talking over each other.
Yeah. When you were talking about it, you said we don't have a formal dining room. We don't have a formal dining room either. I think it's becoming a thing of the past.
Yeah, I think so.
The formal dining room. It doesn't make sense because people aren't really inviting people over for formal dinner parties anymore, or even inviting people over for dinner, I might say, besides their own family.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're seeing a lot more open concept that way.
Yeah. And I love it. I love my dining room / living room.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't change that. So I put the table the other way, the other direction in the room, and it doesn't work great. It just doesn't. You either end up with it in the walking area where you're walking through it.
I believe you. I mean, here's my thing though, is I would still rearrange it. You're always going to have like the way that you like it set up the best, and then you'll have the secondary way. And so all I'm saying is If you set it up a different way, only for a month.
Yeah. You still moved it and cleaned it.
You still moved it and cleaned it. And honestly, there is something to be said about changing it up. And it's like people
freshness.
come over. There is something about it.
I know.
I mean, some may say, feng shui. But there is something about movement in a room and stuff like that. I don't know what the whole thing about that is. I've read a lot about feng shui and like their design concept and why they do things the way that they do them. I think it's like way out there when you start being like, oh, you need to put these certain plant by the door and these tea leaves in. All of a sudden it gets to be this weird spiritual thing. But there is a lot of good stuff about it. Like if you want to, here's one of the most interesting things, I think. If someone comes over to your house and you want to make them feel really comfortable, give them the seat of power. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the seat of power is?
Your seat? I don't know.
Not necessarily. It depends. So the seat of power is the seat in the room, whatever room you're in, that in that seat where they're sitting, that they can see the entrance point to that room where people are entering, coming in and out. Or if there's multiple, that they can see both, that their back isn't to either of those. And basically that's the main thing, in that they are able to, it's kind of like the primary seat where you can see everyone in the room. You can see everyone coming in and out of the room in like wherever the doors are, and your back is never to anyone. If you want to make someone feel uncomfortable, put them in a seat where their back is to the entrance.
Yeah.
It makes them uneasy. They don't realize it makes them uneasy, but it makes them uneasy.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
You'll notice, like, if you think about where you sit in a room, you'll realize really quickly you automatically put yourself in the power seat. Where you can see the door. You can probably see out the window. You can see all the comings and goings of that area that you're in. Yeah. You're not going to sit in the other part. Yeah. Unless someone's already sitting in the power seat. Then you have to go sit somewhere else and you're fine with it. Yeah. But if you're the first one in the room, you watch people sit in that seat first. And it's not because it's the best furniture. Right. I mean, you could even do an experiment and put like the most uncomfortable piece of furniture in the power seat. Yeah. And see if people still sit in it. Yeah. I guarantee you they will. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. And then the other thing about the feng shui is like you always want to have a flow. You always want people to be able to, like, you don't want to put something that blocks people from going somewhere. It's very un-feng shui to put up baby gates and stuff.
Sometimes you need them to keep babies from falling down the stairs. It's very not feng shui to.
I think you just need to let the baby. No, I think you just need to let the baby fall down the stairs and figure out how stairs work. Lois is like, I'm never letting you watch my grandchildren.
No, we had stairs in our house when we had babies, and stairs and babies are just a pain. That's just awful. They have to learn. They have to learn.
Upstairs, my grandson started. They do. They have to learn. So teach them how to get down. And they're going to fall. Or one of my kids has fallen down the stairs.
Let them fall on 2 steps or 3 steps rather than the whole.
Oh, I've had kids go.
The whole flight.
I've had kids go butt over teeth, the whole flight, and smack right into the wall at the bottom. And guess what? They all survived it. Because kids have that extra elastin in their bodies, or flexin, or I can't remember what the name of the hormone is that like makes their joints more bendy.
Still don't recommend.
I'm not recommending just like
no baby gates.
Let your kid like scale tall ladders and play in open flames. No, obviously we want to keep them safe, but I'm just saying we do our best to keep them safe, and they're still going to fall down the stairs and they're still going to do what they do because they're learning. They got to figure out how it works.
But starting at the bottom and letting them go up a couple steps and figure out how to get back down, that's a really good way to do it. Instead of starting at the top and, you just,
Yeah, no, for sure. No, we've been teaching my grandson the same thing. He is wanting to climb the stairs, and so it's like go up a few stairs and then you grab their little legs and show them how to come down backwards, like safely. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they're gonna go running up there at some point when you're not watching. You turn your back for 1 second.
Yep. They sure are.
All right. How about, dishes? Do you leave dirty dishes in the sink overnight?
I do not. Very, very occasionally. Once in a while I do, but not very often.
Yeah. Do you have a dishwasher?
Yes.
So do you put stuff in there each time you use it, or do you let it pile up in the sink and then load the dishwasher?
My dishes sit in the sink until dinner time. I don't load my breakfast dishes into the dishwasher. Myself personally. I know a lot of people who do. And to me, it's just, our breakfast is super weird though, because we don't eat all at the same time. So there's different people eating at different times, leaving different dishes. And some of them are like, well, the frying pan that you're frying eggs is sitting on the stove because somebody else is going to use it in an hour. You know, it's different now. Obviously, I only have one at home anymore. And so it's different than it was when I was raising a larger family. But
yeah. And I mean, I think the rule is you have to figure out what works for you, that you are having this constant cycle, and like, how's that going to look?
yeah,
So right now we have my dad, bless his heart. He moved in with us and he pretty much took over the task of doing the dishes.
yeah,
So every time he comes down to grab a cup of coffee or do whatever, he kind of swings by the sink and rinses off whatever and loads it in the dishwasher. When the dishwasher's done, one of the boys puts it away, and the cycle continues. So we just kind of rinse our stuff and stick it in the sink. But before he came, it was the same thing. As I was making dinner, I was loading those dirty dishes because it was just, I'm in the kitchen already, you know, as you're doing whatever. You're not like constantly. Yeah.
Waiting for that pot. You got to stir it in a minute.
Yeah. Waiting for water to boil, waiting for meat to brown, waiting for whatever. In between that, you're kind of dealing with the dishes that you're dirtying and the dishes that have piled up throughout the day.
Yeah.
And so either before that kid goes to bed or first thing when they wake up in the morning, they better empty it because they know as soon as they start just knowing. I think that's really what it is. It doesn't matter when you do it or how you do it, but if you stay with some sort of consistent thing that typically works, the kids kind of start knowing it better be emptied by this time of the day.
Yeah. See, mine is different. It's so funny because
I'm laughing here that I'm like chugging this bottle of water.
I know, bottled water.
As we're talking.
As we're talking about water.
I was like, oh shoot, like I have to hurry up and get upstairs for this podcast, and I'm just going to grab this.
Grab a water. Yeah.
Well, I was in the garage grabbing a chair.
Yeah.
And I saw the water and I was like, you know what? I've drank enough coffee today.
Yeah. Our dishwasher actually doesn't get emptied until shortly before it starts getting filled again. I've never made my kids unload the dishwasher first thing in the morning. And to me, I literally grab out of the dishwasher if there are dishes in there rather than grabbing out of the cupboard. If there are clean dishes in the dishwasher and I need a glass, I grab it out of the dishwasher. If I need a plate, I grab it out of the dishwasher.
That's funny. I never do.
Instead of the cupboard.
Yeah, I never do.
Because it's fewer to put away.
And
I'm not even the one putting them away. My kid is.
I was just going to say, I don't put them away. I don't even wash them anymore. I just use them. Like, I feel like, this is how we should be living. Right? This is the way.
The life.
Yeah. You have to wedge yourself right in between a retired father and a couple teenage boys that haven't left yet. It's like the sweet spot. But the only time you're going to find me rummaging through the dishwasher looking for something is if it's for like my favorite coffee cup or my favorite knife.
Yeah.
That's all I'm ever looking for in there if I can't find it in the drawer. But other than that, I'm going to use what's in the cabinet every time.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though, that it's the consistency of keeping the kitchen clean.
Yeah, what's the rhythm of your house?
Yeah, just like moving your furniture around occasionally to clean, but it's the same thing with your kitchen. Like, dishes are going to keep coming. You're going to eat again tomorrow, and you're going to eat again the day after that. So how can you handle and set up rhythms, set up systems, set up conveniences that help you with that?
Yeah. It takes a while to figure it out.
Whatever it takes. Yeah. Mine, I don't care about the clean dishes. If the dishes are clean in the dishwasher, I don't care if they're there. Because I don't load the dishwasher until after dinner. I actually don't do it. Once in a while, if I have so we have family dinner once a week. And on family dinner, a lot of times I'll tell my kid, you need to unload the dishwasher now because I want to load it before.
Yeah.
So I'll do that same thing. While I'm cooking family dinner, I'll be loading the dishwasher in between stirring the pot of food or whatever. But I don't normally I don't load it until after dinner.
Don't you think, as we're talking, I'm thinking this was some of the hardest things to get my head wrapped around, or maybe to just accept the reality of, is that there's some stuff as a wife and a mom that you have to do every single day.
Yeah.
You know, we used to even make the joke, a kid would walk in, 5 years old or whatever, and say, Mom, I'm hungry. And I'm like, didn't I just feed you yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they'd kind of look at me and we'd laugh.
It was funny to us.
Yeah. Probably just I was laughing, honestly. But so here's the other thing. If you can't get out of it, get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's a few things.
Make it work for you. Mm-hmm.
You got to make it work. Well, and Apostle Paul says, he talks about, I've learned how to live with a little, I've learned how to live with a lot. And, you know, in all of this, I've learned this secret, the secret of contentment. Like, no matter what, that he's just going to be content, whether he lives in this body or he gets called to heaven. Either way, it's good for him, right? It's like, he's just like, no matter what, just, so I think that is it. That is a secret. It's a secret that we need to grab onto. And that is the concept of, if you can't get out of it, get into it. How can you learn to find the joy in it? How can you learn to just accept it? Really, that's the first step. You have to accept that this is your lot in life. And I don't care if you're a guy working a job or a woman taking care of a household, or a woman taking care of a household and working a job, and whatever your family dynamic looks like. All human beings will have constant work until the day they die.
Mm-hmm.
Till the day you die.
Yeah.
I don't care how young or old you are. There's just going to be, you're young. It's going to be simple things like you have to brush your teeth. You have to floss your teeth. You have to make your bed, whatever the things are your parents tell you have to do. But when I don't know when it dawned on me that for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to cook and clean.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hard pill to swallow. And I had this moment of epiphany where I had come home. I don't know if I talked about this on a previous podcast, but I had come home. It was around dinner time. I had 2 kids at the time. They were both smaller. Like, one was kindergarten. The other one was 2 years old or 1 year old or whatever. And they were both whining. One was crying. They had been crying in the car. So you know how, like, you feel like just driving your car into a tree because, like, the incessant crying of the kids. So I was already walking into the door on my last nerve.
Yeah.
And my husband was sitting with a friend, and they were having a cup of coffee, chatting about who knows what. And I just came in like a whirlwind, and I was hungry, and I was tired, and I had no patience left. And I just started kind of like, what are you guys doing? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, what do you want for dinner? You know, and I'm like digging in the fridge trying to figure out what can I whip together. Kids are still crying, mind you, right? I'm frazzled and I'm hangry. And my husband's friend says to me, because I started into this whole, I hate cooking. I hate having to do this every flipping day. Like, I'm just so tired of this. And at this point, I'm married for 6 years or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've already been in it for a minute.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and says, you know, you're going to have to do it for the rest of your life. Why don't you just decide to get good at it?
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure I told him
something not nice.
Yeah, something that will not be repeated. I know I did, because I just saw him recently, and I asked him if he remembered that I had told him that, and he started laughing and said, yeah. He said, well, he didn't remember it as clearly as me, but because it wasn't as impactful for his life as it was for mine at that moment in time. Yeah. And it was kind of like, in that moment, I told him to F off, and, you know, I got myself some food and got that one kid down for a nap and, you know, moved on with my life. But I don't know, in the next few days, it kind of like woke up this thing in me where I started to think, you know, I think he's right. Yeah. I think if I am going to have to do this for the rest of my life, am I going to choose to complain about it, not plan for it? Like, this is happening every day. Why is there no plan in place? Like, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. So I started planning meals better. I started prepping food better when I had like time, when, you know, the kid was not going to be screaming their heads off. You know, just started getting into it, and then started learning how to cook some new stuff, and started learning what worked for me. And I don't do that perfectly either. I still hit burnout. I'm in a burnout phase right now where I feel like I'm phoning it in a little bit on the meals. Mm-hmm. But I do it for a little while, and we're all going to get that, right? And then,
there's cycles.
Then I get back on it, and it's fine. Mm-hmm.
And you're eating great in the meantime. Even
no one's starving for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I say I'm slacking a little bit, it's because like I set a pretty high bar for myself in the cooking game.
I knew that you did.
Yeah, because I want everything from scratch. I want everything fresh. I want everything as much as possible to be gluten-free and sugar-free and soy-free. And like, I really try really hard. There's still that stuff in my cooking, but I'm very thoughtful about not having a ton of dairy or a ton of gluten or a ton of whatever. So, and that's just from the bunch of health challenges I've dealt with over the years that I'm just really mindful about it and that my daughter has had and different stuff. So the bar is set pretty high. So I have to, if you're going to set the bar like that, like you have to have a plan.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is the day I'm going to go shopping. This is the day I'm going to do all the prep. This is how I'm going to prep. Here's one of the things that I have done that I taught my daughter to do. And she recently said that she had taught someone to do or told them about it. And they had never considered it and thought it was brilliant. So maybe I'll share that here. One of the things I do, because I do work full time as well, I will go to Costco and get, you know, those big packs of chicken breasts? Like they're pretty big. I'll go and get, and it's on my list to do this week, I'll go get 3 of them.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I bring it home. I clean all of it. I cut it how I need to, right? So like I'll cut some up where it's all cleaned and I cut it up in strips for stir fry. I know how much my family needs for a meal. Yeah. So I bag it up, I label it stir fry, I date it. There's no seasoning or anything on that because that gets happen like in the cooking process. Yeah. But then I make marinades for Chipotle chicken because I can do Chipotle chicken bowls or use that for fajitas. I do Italian seasoned chicken because I can use that for chicken Caesar salads or like 1,000 other things for different stuff. I have multiple marinades. So what I do is I know how much my family needs. They're portioned like that. I make all my marinades, all the chicken's prepped, cleaned, all of that. And it's portioned out. So now that takes me, you know, I usually like buy the stuff, come home, prep all the stuff. So it's kind of like that day is just set aside, but I do enough meat and I'll do other meats as well. Like make sure I have the roast I need, the steak I want, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't take as much prep as chicken does. And I really like chicken. Yeah. So I have that all and then I stack it all in my freezer. And so it's dated, it's labeled. If there's something in the freezer that I have like 1 or 2 things, you make sure you move that to the front and use those dates first, right? But that takes a lot out because I can go look in the freezer what I have and I know, okay, if I'm going to do that, this is the fresh, I need a couple limes, this, that, the other thing. So then I look at my meat and I sit down and plan like, what am I going to do for the week? And so I know what fresh produce I need. So there's one trip to the store for the produce for that week. The meat's already been prepped and I do enough meat it lasts me almost a month. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then it's not as big of a deal if I have to stop at the market on the way home and grab a head of lettuce, an onion, a tomato, and a thing of bananas or whatever. Yeah. Because I'm mostly getting a lot of fresh produce then during the time. But yeah. So that's helped anyway, like prepping your meat in advance. Because let's just be real. I don't care. I feel like I'm a pretty good cook and I have some variety in my cooking. I'm still making the same 25 meals. Yeah, over and over and over and over because you start figuring out what everybody likes, meets the health restrictions, meets the budget, meets all the, like has to check all the boxes. Yeah. And then once you have it figured out, just put it on rotation. So it does take a while to figure out. Yeah. But the most interesting thing about the meal prepping, I was thinking about this yesterday. I was helping out with a widows group and someone made the comment that it's really hard to cook for one. And then watch leftovers rot in your fridge. And that's an interesting thing because I wonder what the solution for that would be, you know? Yeah. I haven't come up with a solution yet. I'm just throwing that out there because right now it's really easy for me to cook for a family of 5. But it's interesting that it could actually be more difficult to cook for one. Yeah. In some respects. Yeah. I don't know. One of them admitted that they eat a lot of cereal, cold cereal. Yeah. I was like, hey, whatever works.
And I would get that. Yeah. Because it doesn't feel worth it. Especially, you know, a lot of times if you're a little bit older, you're not eating as much, you're not moving as much, so you don't need as much.
Well, I'm just considering, you know, if I know how much meat I need for this or that, as a single person, I've been thinking about it just a little bit. Could I portion it out in smaller freezer bags and say, you know, this is enough for dinner that night and lunch the next day. And I would put it on the grill for like this salad or this stir fry or this whatever. And could you portion it that way? And so it would just be a small scale.
Yeah. But part of it is it doesn't feel worth it. You're heating up the grill to do one chicken breast or half a chicken breast. And you're like, ugh.
Well, I mean, get a smaller grill.
Yeah, I know.
They do make like tiny ones.
I know.
So I don't know what would be like. I mean, I could understand how it would be its own set of challenges. Cause I mean, the rare occasion that my husband says he's not going to be home for dinner, whatever I was making for dinner goes straight into the fridge and we don't make dinner. You know, the one night he's gone, oh, Dad's not going to be home. We're not going to make dinner.
Yeah.
I don't care what. Frozen pizza, toast, whatever. Ramen noodles. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
So I can get how that would be for sure.
Yeah.
So basically the managing dirty dishes falls right into the managing the laundry thing too. Mm-hmm. One of the best bits of advice about laundry I ever got when my kids were small was when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do after going to the bathroom and brushing your teeth, of course, is put a load of laundry going. Mm-hmm. Every morning, first thing, put a load of laundry going. Because even if you get distracted doing other stuff and forget about it for a minute, you will remember at some point. You'll put it in the dryer. Yeah. Worst case scenario, you at least get one load of laundry done every single day.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you have too many kids and they're too little, like you're going to get backed up if you're not doing more than one a day. It's the reality of it. If you have kids peeing the bed and stuff like that, which I had to deal with that at one point, and so it was a constant. But I've never been the person that has clothes upon clothes upon clothes to like wash and backed up. I don't understand that. When people say I'm so far behind on laundry, I don't understand that because every single morning I put laundry going. I still do. I put like sheets going this morning.
Yeah.
Just do laundry. Like it's one of those things. You're going to have to eat every day. You're going to have to cook every day. You're going to have to do laundry every day, and you're going to have to do dishes every day. Those are three things that you're just not getting away from. So figure out how to get on a schedule and stay ahead of the stuff. Because if you stay ahead of it, it's not that stressful. If you get backed up, you're going to turn into a crab. I promise.
Yeah. And that's part of it is I think that's the biggest part of it is when you're feeling behind, then you feel like a failure because, you know, you can't keep up with the cooking. You can't keep up with the cleaning. You can't keep up with the laundry, the dishes, the whatever. Mm-hmm. And it makes you feel incompetent and like you're not measuring up. And I think that's the biggest part of it. I think it like defeats you because it's one and you're not good enough. And that's not it. You have the ability to do this. You have to just figure out how. You have to figure out the system that works for you, the method, the tricks, the tips, the life hacks, the whatever that give you the ability to be on task, to get the dishes done every day, to get the laundry done. You know, I'm not saying every load has to be done all the time, like you take something off and it goes straight in the washing machine, but I'm saying don't have 17 loads of laundry.
No.
To do. Mm-hmm. Never let it get like that.
No. You have to stay ahead of it. Because if anything in life, it piles up too big, all of a sudden it's so overwhelming. It's this insurmountable task.
Yeah.
Then like, how am I going to find 10 hours to do this? Right. No, it's not 10 hours to do this. It's 1 hour a day. It's 2 hours a day, you know, and then you get into this, you get ahead of it and all of a sudden it's 1 hour a day. So like get ahead of it. But if you're doing the 1 hour a day but you're already backlogged, like that's not going to work at the beginning. Like you are going to have to just like.
Yeah. You're going to have to do several.
Do as much as you need to have every bit of the laundry clean, which that only lasts for 1 second until some kid steps in a puddle or your husband takes a shower or something.
Yeah.
But get everything done in your house at some point of the laundry and then start doing the one load a day and see if that's enough.
Or 2 loads a day if that's what it takes. If you've got a larger family, maybe 3 loads a day.
Yeah. If you're doing 1 load a day and you find out that it's backing up, that's not enough. Yeah. If you do 2 loads a day and you find out it's backing up, then that's not enough. Mm-hmm. So you figure out what that is.
Yeah.
Now I don't even, like, my boys do their own laundry. My dad does his own laundry. I'm just doing laundry for my husband and I, and then the towels and sheets in the house. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's super manageable for me now.
But there is a piece of equipment that will make your life so much easier that we don't utilize to our advantage. and that is your cell phone. If you have to, put a reminder in your phone that says laundry at 8:00 in the morning and have it go off every day, because you can, have this intention and then not follow through on it. But that reminder, I have reminders that are daily reminders in my phone. Until they're checked off, they're not dismissed, they're not removed from my phone. By the end of the day, I want everything on that calendar done. Mm-hmm. Or move to another day. I might set a task for myself, and then life happens, and, I end up dealing with something else, emergency, or just too many things on my to-do list. And I'll say, you know what? That doesn't have to get done today. It has to get done this week. So I'll move it to a few days from now. Mm-hmm. But it's dealt with by the end of the day. Everything on that list. And if laundry's on that list, until it's washed, dried, folded, put away, it's not done. I can't remove it.
Oh, that's the worst, right? So I can wash it and I can dry it and I can fold it, but then those baskets will just sometimes sit.
Yeah.
They'll sit. So I make everyone, everyone puts their own, so it's just mine and my husband's, but sometimes those will sit, I will admit, they will sit for a couple days, maybe even a week, depends.
But you know what? You set your limit of for some people it's going to be washed, dry, and on the counter, which I think folded and sorted is better. Because when you're in there digging for socks, the time that you're wasting digging for socks, you could have if you had folded the pile, you just grab the socks and go, right? Even if you don't put them away, even if you have to go to the laundry room to get your clothes.
Yeah. You bring up socks. Do you know there's quite a few people out there who do not pair their socks up? Do you pair your socks up?
Yes, but I buy the same. I have multiples. I buy my son the same socks. My husband buys pretty much the same socks. I buy the same socks. So I have 12 socks in there that are all the same of mine. And they
what do you do when they wear it? You chuck them out when they're bad and you just buy the same ones again?
Well, I buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack or whatever when I buy them.
See, I feel like someone has told me just buy the same socks, and it just doesn't work, because we buy all the same socks and everyone has it works for a minute. And then when people need more socks, you just can't find those same socks again. And now you have these other socks. What are you going to do? Throw away perfectly good socks so that all the socks match? No, you're not going to do that. So
no, they don't all match, but there's enough of them, that it makes it easier.
I don't have one of these. Yeah. I mean, we kind of try to do that, but it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But I cannot with the people who just take all their socks and chuck them in a hamper or a drawer or something. And then every single time you need a pair of socks,
I know,
you have to try to find the matches. That is such a waste of time.
I know.
So my daughter and I have been arguing about this for years, because she doesn't pair her socks up. And I say, what a waste of time. She says, what a waste of time to sit there and pair your socks. I said, no, it's easy, because they're all together
in
right
the
now.
same load.
Yeah, exactly. If one doesn't match up for some reason, I have this misfit bin on the top of my washing machine that they get chucked in, and after that has quite a bit in it, I'll take them, pair them. If they still don't have a match, they go in the trash. Yeah. Because they have lost their mate and they are unredeemable.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's still a better use of time to pair your socks when they come out of the wash than to do it every single day. So I'm doing it one day, and then they last for a week or two, and other people are doing it every single day. I guess I don't know. You'd have to time it and see how long does it take you to find. You know what? Here's the deal. They don't always wear matching socks.
No, they don't.
That's what happens.
They don't. Yeah. You just grab two socks. Yeah.
I cannot wear mismatched socks. Forget about that.
Yeah.
It's I would know all day long that my socks don't match.
I know. Me too. Just too uptight, I guess we are.
we need to loosen up. But I won't stand here and say, this is the only way to do it. Obviously, if it works
No.
for you to throw them all in a drawer or a hamper and just chuck them all in there and figure it out, and that's
Yeah.
how you want to like live your chaotic, unorganized life, like you do it.
No judgment here. Chaos, unorganized.
No judgment here for inferior laundry tactics. I mean, if that's how you want to live your life, it's America.
That's so funny.
But no, there is definitely more than one way to do something. More than one way to meal prep. More than one way to keep your house clean and do your dishes and do your laundry and all of the things.
There are dear people that I love who absolutely doesn't bother them. Don't care if their socks match or not. They just grab 2 socks in the morning. And I'm like, oh, that's so weird. But okay.
So tell me if you think this is true. I think this is true because a lot of our listeners are Finnish descent. We've talked about this before. A lot come from same backgrounds. I feel like the Finnish people in general, not all, but most of them, are pretty clean, like pretty organized and pretty clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of reasons why I think that is. For one, I think it's been cultural that we take our shoes off when we get to someone's house.
Right.
Typically.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always the case. Now with some people having full concrete floors or hardwood floors or whatever, they don't care.
Right.
It's not so much carpeting around, but I don't know. They seem to be cleaner and more organized. I don't know. Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's purely culture. I think there can't be any other reason.
Maybe we're just like simpler people in some ways, like where we like stuff aesthetically simple. Ish. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I love going into someone's house that has a truly Scandinavian vibe to it, where it's white and wood and clean and I love that. You know, typically there'll be some fur, there'll be, so there's a lot of texture to it, but a lot of earthiness and simplicity, and
it feels like a spa to me.
Oh, it's so amazing. Yeah.
That gives me that vibe.
Yeah. I want my house to feel like a spa. I want my house to be a spa. I want to live at the spa. It actually reminds me of, I have started to adopt this over the last couple years of build the life that you want to live, not the one you have to take vacations to escape from. Mm-hmm. Make your house your sanctuary that you enjoy going back to, not the place you're trying to get away from. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I like that concept, because if my house ends up being a place that I enjoy being at and I feel comfortable and it's relaxing and all that, hopefully people that come to my house feel that way as well.
Yeah.
Like implementing the swings on the back porch or the hammock swings on the front porch, or like you said, having spaces where you can sit comfortably and gather and have a cup of coffee, and just that it's warm and inviting and cozy and people want to hang out there. Yeah. Because you know what, you've created a place that you want to hang out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You're going to be somewhere, right? You might as well be somewhere you want to be.
Yeah.
So make it a place that you want to be.
I'm excited that the spring is sprung and things are blooming and now I can start getting out in the garden, because I also like to I like to play around out there. I like my gardens to be something I want to sit on my porch and look at, because it's so interesting to watch how we put our hand to it and we do our best to nurture whatever it is that we have and prune back and all of these things, but God creates the increase. And it's so fun to watch what you've put your hands to grow and mature over time. And with plants, it's so easily visible. With our kids, sometimes we don't see it because it's happening right before our eyes. Yeah. We don't see it till we look back on how little they were, or that we see that growth. But I don't know why I could see it in my flowers and my trees and stuff that I've planted. And so even making that outside space like that and putting in the fire pit last year, where another place to sit around and hang out. Yeah. You know, I love it. Yeah. So all of the things that we've talked about, let me do a quick rundown of them, because I think they all sort of filter into this concept, right?
Yes, they do.
You know, don't complain about the weather. Create spaces where you can sit at home and still enjoy it despite what the weather's like, right? Don't complain about that. Don't procrastinate your cleaning, because then when you're sitting inside your house and stuck in there when the weather is poorly, you're going to be all frustrated because there's so much work to be done because you've let it pile up. right?
Mm-hmm.
And then floss your teeth because you don't want to go out in bad weather that you're already complaining about to have to get a filling done and spend money that you don't have.
Right.
You know, rearrange your furniture, keep things fresh and new, like inspire yourself to look at things at a different angle in a different way. Change up where your power seat is in your room and be thoughtful about that when people come over. And keep ahead of the dirty dishes and the laundry and all of that because it's not piled up. You can sit comfortably with your feet up and read your Bible or your book that you have while you listen to the washer and dryer doing the hard work in this modern age we live in. That, like this is my favorite thing when it's like the last load of laundry and I'm reading my book and those machines are doing the last bit of work for me. That's a good feeling. And you're sitting in an environment where you've created this space for yourself to just enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's just a wonderful thing. And even today, probably in the next few minutes, actually, I'm going to have companies start showing up just for that very thing, to have a few girls over to just share a cup of coffee together on the porch. I think it's warm enough out today. I don't see the temp. Oh, maybe not. It's 47, but it's sunny. Yeah. Be able to enjoy each other's company and just be able to catch up on what's going on. So
yeah. Absolutely.
It's a wonderful thing.
And it takes some discipline and some work to get there. But use the tools that you have. Use your phone. Put reminders in there. I put a timer going. If I have laundry in the washer, I put an hour timer. And when that thing goes off, walk over and throw it in the dryer. So you don't forget because, you know, especially if it's bedding day, there's nothing worse than it's 11 o'clock and you're going to go off to bed and you're like, oh, great. My sheets are still in the washer.
And because of that, I have multiple sets.
I know. But if you use the tools that we have. Keep yourself on track so you don't forget. But you have to do it right away. You have to be disciplined. Yeah.
Don't wait. If you see it, do it. You know, I'm constantly doing that. If I'm brushing my teeth and the mirror's dirty, I keep here's another little life hack. If you keep a thing of paper towel and cleanser in every single bathroom, you don't have to go running after something. You're brushing your teeth, you notice your mirror's dirty. Well, grab your paper towel and clean it. And while you're at it, just do the sink really quick, right? Yeah. So it's not like, oh, today I have to clean the whole house. I'm constantly cleaning little bits of stuff here and there as I see it and notice it when I'm just in the space. If I just have a minute. But it's interesting that you brought up the phone. And I forgot to say this last time you brought it up. We, had a Bible study the other day and I was tasked with creating like an opening icebreaker type thing to get for the introductions. So I came up with, you know, I'm going to actually do what's your name? Where do you live? Where did you grow up? And what's one of the most helpful things you own? And everyone filled out their papers and then had to give it to someone else and people introduced each other. This is so-and-so, you know, this is their stuff. And so they could read it off their paper and it went really well. But I was so surprised how many people put down phone. Yeah. Like the majority. I think there was 20 people, let's say. I don't know exact numbers, but there 20 people. I think 15 put phone. Wow. Yeah. Guess what this weirdo put? I didn't put phone. Okay. I put Alexa.
That's next level.
I actually put my Alexa show and someone's like, what's an Alexa show? And I was just like, girl, yeah. Someone else put vacuum. I could totally relate to that. They're like my cordless stick vac. I was just like, yeah, depends who you are and what season of life you're living in, I suppose. Yeah. But the majority put phone. Yeah. Because it is helpful.
It is. And it can be more helpful. That's what I was trying to say, is you're carrying it in your pocket anyway. If it just goes ding, ding, ding and says, hey, your laundry needs to be swapped, go do it right now while it's fresh and not 11 o'clock when you're trying to crawl into your bed and you remember that your sheets are in the washer. Yeah. Use those tools.
You know, I have a rule that you can't take anything out of the dryer unless you're going to fold it. And you can't take anything out of the dryer if it's not warm and fold it because it'll be wrinkly and I don't iron. Yeah. So I loved when they came out with I think it's called Fluff Up. Yeah. 20-second or 20-minute, whatever. Yeah. Or Freshen Up or something like that. Yeah. I don't know how much money I've wasted hitting that 20-minute cycle, but I don't care because my clothes aren't wrinkled.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? You do what works for you.
Yeah.
You totally do.
But I'm saying I've trained the rest of my family that if I, for some reason, forget my clothes in the dryer and I go off to work and you need the dryer, you better warm those clothes up and then fold them. Otherwise, you wait for me to do it, but don't take them out and dump them somewhere. I will get it will not go well.
Yeah.
It's not going to be all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like literally a brain dump of what's been kind of rolling through my brain.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
Between getting my teeth cleaned and dealing with late people and hearing people complain about the weather, because we had 80 degrees last week and then we had 40 degrees this week and rain and gloom and everyone is ready for summer. I get it. I'm ready for summer too.
Yeah.
But
you can't change it.
Complaining about it's not going to make it come any sooner.
Exactly. Yeah. So a good life hacks of how to build the life that you want.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to cook. You're going to have to clean. You're going to have to do all the things.
Be good at it.
Yeah. And you can be. You
can be. And if you don't know exactly, ask someone you go to their house and it's usually pretty tidy and they seem like they kind of have it together. Well, ask them. Ask them for advice.
You know what? You can always contact Stacey and I.
Yeah, for sure.
Me.
No, you can definitely. You have some comments or questions about it, you can email at us at whosegirlareyou@gmail.com. Absolutely. I won't hesitate to answer you. I might do a GPT generated answer, but I'll vet it. I'll make sure that I read it and agree with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear from people for sure. We've heard from a few people and I really appreciate that. The encouragement and the support.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely been nice.
It is. It's great.
Oh, I always think back to this too when I'm doing stuff, because nobody wants to clean the toilet. Nobody wants to cook every day. Nobody wants to clean every day. No one wants to do laundry every day. It's not like you're not doing it because you want to do it. So if you're waiting until you have the desire,
it's never going to happen.
It's not coming. It is a discipline. But I think to myself, the scripture that says, do all things as unto the Lord.
Yeah.
And then I remind myself, he's a God who sees. He sees me. And there was a little book someone had given me many, many, many years ago when I was feeling really defeated and alone and isolated and bogged down by all of this, that was titled The Invisible Woman. About how God sees every diaper you change and every time you're sweeping up for the millionth time under your kid's high chair and the picking French fries out of the car seat and whatever, listening to kids complain about the food you just slaved over for an hour and all of the things. And the fact of the matter is you do what you do to the best of your ability. Like, do all things as unto the Lord. Do everything with as much excellence as possible. Yeah. And then have tons of grace for yourself too. But he sees you and he rewards those who are diligent in doing the best with what they've been given, right? And for a lot of us, we've been given this house, we've been given these kids, we've been given this husband, we've been given this job, we've been given whatever we've been given. A lot of money, a little money, but we need to be good stewards of that, whatever that is.
The Lutheran doctrine of vocation is what that's called. The places that God has put you. You are a wife, you are a mother, you are a sister, you are a daughter. You're a sister in faith, in Christ, in your congregation. You have all of these positions that God has placed you in. You didn't choose. I mean, maybe you chose to be a wife, but I mean, the rest of them have been given to you. And you can rest in those places knowing that this is what God wants me to be doing because this is where God put me.
I don't know where the scripture is either, but I remember trying to put to memory the one that says, learn to lead a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands. Because I think sometimes we feel like we aren't making an impact on the world, that we're not making a difference.
It's not important.
Yeah, it's not important. It can be a really hard place to sit. And when you realize that that's not it, that it really is important and that really it takes some serious skill and discipline and humility to be able to learn to lead a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands. It's not a weak thing. It's a strong thing. It's a thing of strength. And not a lot of people can do that discipline for long periods of time in the same direction. And that's what it takes. And, then when you look back, you see the blessing in it. But in the moment, boy, it's hard, right? In the moment, you don't see it.
Right.
Necessarily. You're just doing the next right thing, like AA says.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the next right thing. If you don't know what to do, do that. Do the next right thing. That might be getting in that glass of water or taking a shower or putting that laundry going or loading the dishwasher or going for a walk or getting that coffee from Starbucks because it's your self-care. You know, whatever.
But that's where you have to realize these things that you're doing are important because they are influencing the future.
Yeah.
You're raising your kids. You're raising future citizens of our country. You're raising future decision makers in the church. You're raising future, the society is going to be impacted by what you're doing today.
Yeah.
And so it's important. It's not useless. It has an impact. And so do it mindfully.
Yeah. Be intentional.
Absolutely.
Make a plan. I need, preaching to myself right now because I have got to sit down and make a meal plan and get my butt to Costco and do my meat prep and because I'm hitting that again. And I think that's always when I'm hitting burnout was when I know my next round is coming up. Because once I sit down and do that, I make the list, I make the plan, I get the stuff, I do the prep. It takes me a day.
Yeah.
Then it's off my brain and it's not stressful for the next month.
Yeah.
But I know I'm coming up to it. And so I feel, let's just get Pizza Haven,
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just eat eggs.
Yeah. Cereal.
My go-to meal when I don't know what to do is like, you want a fried egg?
I can fry a mean egg.
I can cook it however you want. I'm acting like you have so much choice in your dinner tonight. Would you like a fried egg, scrambled egg, an over easy egg? How about a boiled egg? I mean, what kind of egg? You tell me. It's whatever you want, babe. Look at all the choices I've just laid out.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it.
I always have eggs. Even in this economy.
Yeah. They're a staple, right?
I mean, I don't know. I grew up being told if you have eggs, milk, bread, and cheese, you could make like tons of meals. It's true.
It is true.
Egg sandwich. Grilled cheese sandwich. Eggs and toast. French toast. French toast with scrambled eggs.
Oh boy. That's
Egg
awesome.
sandwich. Egg salad sandwich. I'm like, Bubba Gump shrimp listing off all my egg stuff. Like, Forrest Gump over here. I think this means it's about time to be done because I'm starting to digress into nothingness.
It has been great to chat.
It's been great chat, and I'll talk to you next week.
You bet. Bye.
All right, bye. Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's awesome.